For those that don't know, my name is Stuart Schlossman. Hey, everybody, how are you doing tonight? Great. Awesome. So, firstly, we want to thank two different companies for supporting us to do tonight's program, and I hope that you all let them know that we appreciate them doing this. The first one is Celgene. There you go. All right, the next one is Sanofi Genzyme. All right. Now, just so you know, we get around, like I said, we get around all over the country doing these programs, but we cannot do these programs without their support. And they want to give us the support in doing this because they want you all to learn from what's happening. So tonight, you're going to listen with Dr. Nagroski. He's going to speak about the needs of a comprehensive healthcare team, reason for care partners, discussion on the care partners and what they can do, also understanding the needs of having all of these things in place. Our next speaker is something that a lot of you are going to, most of you, I should say all of you, are going to like, because he not only has wisdom, he's got humor. He is a personal trainer. Again, I said earlier that he has done many educational programs around the United States. People, when they hear him, actually call us and they ask when Jeff is coming back. When are we going to bring him back to his area? I'm not supposed to say that in front of him because I know his hair grows when I say it, and then he'd have to go back and shave again before he talks tonight. So anyway, Jeff Segal is the recipient of the 2007 National Strength and Conditioning Association Personal Trainer of the Year Award. Jeffrey has written articles for numerous publications, in addition to others such as Shape Magazine. He's the owner of Balance Personal Training since 2004, and he is a national motivational and educational speaker. He's a graduate of a school that probably a lot of you are going to like, and others are going to, I don't know what, but he's a graduate of Florida State University. And he's also a person living with multiple sclerosis since 1998. Let's welcome Jeff.
Leave this here.
Leave it here. Okay, I got it.
Now I'm nervous. All right, there's a couple people in here sleeping. Why did I just do that? Because I didn't want you to sleep. All right, wake up. Now comes every one of you is going to come close to completing a marathon tonight. Ah, you're laughing for everybody, right? I talked to a bunch of people before the program. I do this before most of the programs that I do because I don't want to just tell you what I know. I want to tell you what you want to know and that you're missing. So, like most of the places that I've been, a couple tables hit up most of the topics that I was going to cover regardless. And as I went from table to table, same topics. So you guys are going to get what you wanted. I'm going to talk about bugs. Butterflies. Who's that? Is this the right talk? No. I just wanted to make sure. Why am I asking you that? I don't know. Tomato? Because it was a red balloon? I'm going to talk about exercise. I'm going to talk about how every one of you in here is an athlete and why someone giggled when I said that. And it wasn't someone that was asleep, right? How many people in here experience fatigue? How many people in here just say it's because you have MS? Come on, there's got to be some people in here who have fatigue from MS. We have MS, right?
Yes, of course.
The majority of the fatigue that I see around is sleepiness and tired and out of breath. Someone told me they get out of breath when they climb stairs. Somebody else told me that when they go for long walks, they can't, recover as fast. Why? Because you don't do it enough. If you climbed stairs every day and then you climbed stairs, you would not be out of breath. And if every day that you climbed stairs, you climbed more and more and more, you know what would happen? You'd be fit. And then you wouldn't think that you're out of breath and tired because you have an illness. It's because you're human when you get tired and out of breath. That's a different kind of fatigue than the fatigue that you would get from a neurological condition. That I understand. That's like opening up the oven and the heat hitting you in the face and you not knowing what to do, and that's just standing up out of bed in the morning. I understand what that fatigue is like. It's like trying to do a pull-up with 100 pounds tied to your feet. So you know what the conclusion is to that? Don't try that. It's not good. I got a couple of books here I want to talk to you guys about briefly, and then I'll go back to my rah stuff, okay? I promise. One was Dr. Mitzi Williams. You guys know who she is in Atlanta? She just came out with a book. If you want to understand MS in a real simple, quick way, it's not a long read, it's an easy read. I just got it a couple days ago, and I read it a couple days ago. It's very easy to read. There's no words that you're going to have to look up. You don't have to ask Siri anything. The other book, and it's called MS Made Simple, Essential Guide to Understanding Your Multiple Sclerosis Diagnosis by an MS specialist. That way people can understand what it's like to you know, have MS, what to expect, what to know, and what not to do, that type of stuff. It's not, you're not taking any kind of physiological course by taking it. The other one is called A Simple Guide to Exercise. And what it is to exercise safety, and it's what you don't know can actually hurt you. That's what this is, by Dana Gore. This is great if you have a personal trainer or you have somebody in the exercise field. It is important, as important for them to look at this book as it is for you. This is a book for anybody, that anybody can read. So as we age, certain things happen, right? Like everybody, whether you have an illness or not, at some point you'll have something. I mean, if you don't have anything, then, I mean, who's 250 years old in the back of the room? But yeah, besides Stuart. But in order to be old and wise, you have to be what? First, young and stupid? Yeah, that's a prerequisite. Those are things that just happen in life. And everybody in here has taken phys ed, right? Right? And then 10 years later, you look back at it as some kind of illness that you're going to. Like, you don't go to phys ed to, you know, have fun. Of course you did. When you took phys ed and you were young, you had a great time. The only thing was, you come to a certain age in school when you go to PE. I don't know, if you were to tell someone of the generation right now growing up what PE actually stood for, they'd be shocked. Physical education, you know, that's been, no one's called it that in so many years. But if you get everybody to do something like that, they enjoy it, they look back. You know why you stop going to phys ed or stop wanting to? Because you find someone that you like, and it's that age where the guys and the girls, and they like each other, and you get out of phys ed and you stink. So they drop phys ed. So that's why they may want to make phys ed not a co-ed activity. You might get a little more out of it, I don't know. Or you get the people inside with the phones and whatnot. You cannot get in shape by using your phone. You know, you guys understand how many people in here have had some sort of a joint replaced? Hip, knee, shoulder, all the above. Okay, well, the great thing is that's going to get phased out, because the next generation are so sedentary, other than their thumbs. They're going to have thumb replacements, right? Thumb replacements. So that means everybody can join someone in here who's going to have a thumb replacement. Right back there. Don't look. He's shy. So what happened with me was, okay, I did get diagnosed with MS. I did study exercise physiology before that. I had a career. I knew what I was going to be. I knew what I wanted to do. I just changed the direction. That's something that is so important. If you have goals, you have dreams, and something comes up that's a blockade in front of it, it doesn't mean change your goals and change your dreams. It means change the direction in which you're going to get to it. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I did was I wanted to learn everything about MS. Nobody's ever done that. I haven't. We don't know everything about MS, but I want to know what MS is, what it does to people, what it prevents people from doing, what you can do with MS. And you know what you can do with MS? Almost everything. So if there's anything that you cannot do because of MS, throw it out the window and do everything else, and don't think about that. Because I guarantee you that there's people in this room that week in and week out put enough thought into exercise to be a top athlete. But when it stays between the ears, it does you nothing. No good whatsoever. And I guarantee you, most people these days are thinking about it more than they're doing it, and talking themselves out of it. and then being really down on themselves because they failed. Because today was going to be that day. Anybody can relate to that? Unfortunately, we're all human in here, and we do find the easy way out. But if we make a habit of finding the easy way out, we'll never know what's out there. You'll never know what your potential is. And what exercise can do for people with any illness or no illness is raise your potential. If you do not shoot for your potential, you'll never reach it. You'll never know what comes past that. And that is where all the fun really begins. You know, all the fun in life happens while you're doing something else. You know, you think back to stories and things that have happened in your life. You were doing something else, something profound happened, and then it changed your direction. So what I want you guys to do is more. How many people in here can stand up? How many people in here might be able to, might not, but didn't raise their hand, or did anyways? Now I want you guys to prove it. And just, you know, shake it off a little bit, because you guys have been sitting down for a while. I got tired watching you guys. All right, you guys can have a seat. Again, I'm not going to tell you to stand up and sit and stand and sit, unless you really want me to. But you know what happened? There was a time in my life where I got sick and tired of not giving 100%. Do you realize what you get out of 100%? You get it all. You're not leaving anything off the table. And if you can do that, the next time you try, 100% is a little bit more. It's not more than 100%, but it equals more than what 100% was yesterday. And tomorrow, if you can't give what you gave today, you can still give 100%. Do your best. Because by doing your best every time you try, you're going to get the best results possible. And if you make a mistake, you're going to fix the mistake and go back and do it. And you tell other people that too. Because if you tell other people, you're held accountable. And if you're held accountable, you'll do a little bit more, and people will actually look up to you, especially if you're someone who has some label. I'm not going to use the letters, but if you have some label and you're doing it and they're not, shame on them. Good for you. One for the team, right? So how many people in here are care partners? It's more important for you guys to exercise than the people next to you. I'm telling you right now. It is, and I guarantee you that you're telling them to do it. I don't know if you're doing it or not, but if you're not, shame on you. You should be. Because, I mean, nothing makes me happier than seeing someone with MS taking care of their care partner. Right? Imagine that. Yeah, people are looking around, and I see some of you guys are like sinking into your chairs looking around. Sometimes you get knocked down in life. It's about getting back up, right? I've been on the ground. I've been on the ground for months. The only time I got up was by climbing up onto something so I can fall back down again. I learned how to fall perfectly. And the day I was able to fall with as much grace as I can and just be so smooth with my fall, never fell again. Reminds me of learning how to snowboard. Forget about it. Talk about a sore butt, right? That was just from going down half a mountain. The rest of the time I didn't fall because I learned how to fall and I never did again. So you have to really stretch yourself out a little bit further than you think. You'd be surprised what it's like to reach your potential. How many people in here don't exercise because they think they're going to have a problem? And you create that problem. And you create something in your mind that says, I know I should do this, but if I do, I might get hurt, or I might have a problem, or MS might knock me down. You'll never know if you think that way. Because you know what's going to happen if you overdo it with exercise? You get some temporary symptoms, and you know what your limits are. That's it. It's not going to last. What is going to last is strength. No one died from strong muscles, right? My doctor tells me, and I hear other people say the same thing, you're dying very slow. It's the best thing you can hear when you go to the doctor. You don't want to hear you're dying, but when they say slow, like, and I say, what do you mean slow? Like slower than anybody I'm treating. I'm like, really? And I said, I better look both ways when I cross the street. But in order to move forward and do things, you have to get yourself up. And I guarantee you there's plenty of you in here who've been knocked down and didn't even realize it and got through that, and that's what got you here today. It doesn't mean you fell on the ground and got knocked down, but you overcame something, some kind of adversity. And that feels great. There's nothing as good as overcoming something that someone told you or that you felt that you couldn't do, and then you actually do it. Well, guess what? Try exercising. Give it a shot. Because what you do with whatever modality you pick, and I'm going to show you a few things, what you do with that will become something greater and greater and greater. And it's not to show off in the gym or show off in the house if that's where you're exercising. And don't compare it to the day before and think that's the way it's supposed to be. The way it's supposed to be is you get out of the house and you do something. And you say, wow, this was never so easy before. Why is that? Because now you're moving and you're doing stuff and you're waking your body up, and your body is saying, get me out of here, get me out of here. You know, that's what it's like having MS and not doing anything and thinking about doing stuff and frustrating yourself, and then you get depressed. Exercise is the opposite of depression. Endorphins, anti-stress hormones. Why not? Would you rather get them the other way? Do you know what the other way to get endorphins released is? Probably second to exercise? Crying. So let's see, you want to cry or do you want to exercise? Which one's going to feel better? Right now you might be thinking the crying, but it's not. So why do we want to exercise? Or why don't we? I'm going to tell you some things exercise can do for you, besides making you stronger, which is something that not exercising will do the opposite of. You will atrophy. If you don't exercise, your muscles are getting weaker, unless you're not getting older. As you age, part of the aging process is losing muscle mass. There's only one way to combat that, and that is to lift weights, to impose demands on your body that it's not normally accustomed to, and then your body responds with being stronger, not losing size. And you don't have to, you know, I forget about this, but we're humans and we're the only animals that get heavier with age. Why? Because we're the only animals that slow down with age. Because other animals, what happens when they slow down? They become food. They get caught. You guys don't want to be food, do you? So this is a great book. I really think that you guys should check it out. If you're interested in exercising, if you get somebody else to read it, they'll be interested in exercising. And you'd be surprised what can go right and what can go wrong. Exercise is a science. This talks about warm up, cool down, how family plays a role in exercise, who you should exercise with, what's the difference between for certifications, what's qualified versus certified. There's a big difference if you work with somebody in an unregulated field like personal training. You know, unless and I'm in research too, where there's more regulations. but as far as personal training goes, as a field of what people do for a living, there's no regulatory body. So if I showed you all the letters next to my name, they're all profound to me. They mean a lot to me. They mean nothing to you. Because how would you know what the letters next to my name said, unless it said MD? And I don't have muscular dystrophy. So I automatically have my MS. It's an educational thing. I want to move some things aside so we can really have fun. How many people in here want to have fun? Okay, now I want to hear who doesn't want to have fun. Because a lot of people didn't raise their hands. I know you're in here. I saw your hands down. By the way, this is like 1,000 pounds. All right, this is a massage table. I'm going to use this so that people in the back can see. Anybody in here a massage therapist? No? No. Ah. You guys don't get to see then. No, I'm kidding. I was hoping, you know, every time I bring this out, I'm hoping that somebody's going to say that they're a massage therapist, and then I'd be like, I'm not shy, let's try this out.
I was raising my hand and said, who wants a massage?
Huh?
Who wants a massage?
Are you asking?
She wants
Is this okay to move? This is 2,000 pounds. That's why I'm doing it slow. Oh no, $2,000. Okay, now let me see. Can you guys see me? Yep. Yeah. I don't like sitting down. I want somebody in the room just to call out a type of exercise they do. Anything. Just an exercise.
water aerobics. Yeah, water aerobics.
Water aerobics. Okay, who's got a hose? I can't do water aerobics up here. Walk. Okay, walking. Walking can be an exercise if it's something that's difficult for you. Otherwise, it's transportation. But if you walk and you want to be stronger at walking, do you know how to do that? No? You walk more. So it seems simple, but you have to play with the mind a little bit. So you have to mark like spots, and not like a dog marks spots, like grown-ups, and we're not like that. We get in trouble doing that. I don't know why dogs don't, but find a spot that you can get to and get back, and note the site, and then go a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further, and then if you feel like you're getting tired, back off a little bit, but then you can go back to doing it. If you guys were to lift weights, do aerobic exercise, stretch. If you lift weights, you are stretching because you're taking your body into a full range of motion, which is very important. And I'm going to get into spasticity. I got some questions about spasticity, tightness, cramping, all this in the same field of what I'm going to talk about. But you know, it's really important that whatever it is you do it right, you do it safe. So first thing I'm going to do is talk about stretching. Right? Do you guys stretch?
Yes.
Okay. So when you stretch a muscle, it does not mean that it's going to help that muscle tomorrow. It means it's going to make it feel good right now. Temporary. It's a temporary relief. There's no long results from stretching other than possibly reducing your spasticity. How many people in here do not want to have spasticity? And if anybody doesn't raise their hand, I'm not going to be happy. I'll give you spasticity. I got some in my pocket. Well, by stretching your muscles, I'm going to tell you like 3 of the basic types of spasticity that we are associated with. And you tell me if there's more to it than this. But there's the tremor type of spasticity, right? Hard to grab stuff. Believe it or not, if you have an action tremor and you wanted to reduce it, you can put some weight on your arm and you're not going to shake as much. With some people that helps. Other than that, there's meds and stuff that help, and stretching may help, but not as much as the cramping. Cramping, you guys ever get the spasticity where your muscles just cramp up, and you ever do it when you're asleep? It ever happen when you're asleep? Does it ever happen when you're asleep and you know it's happening but you can't wake up? No, oh, I have. It's horrible. Oh, I'll teach you how to do it. It's terrible. Okay, so some simple things about cramps when you're sleeping. Prevention. Everything prevention, prevention, prevention. Don't tuck your sheets in. If you tuck your sheets in and you have spasticity and cramping, it's only going to get worse. That's like tying you down, tying your foot down in a position that's going to cause a cramp. So untuck the sheets. I don't even tuck them in. You know, if someone wants to complain about it, hey, what are you doing in my room? Oh. But, you know, at night, if you do get a cramp, do you know how to get rid of the cramp? You don't go with it, you go against it. So if this was cramping here, if my bicep's cramping, this is what's going to happen. It's going to get my arm's going to go like this. This is the last position you want it to be, and you want to stretch it out like this, just like your calf. If your calf cramps up and it starts going like that, what you want to do is try to grab your foot and straighten your leg. Now, it doesn't mean you can do this, because I'm somewhat flexible. I'm not very flexible, but you can get a towel or something, put it around it, and hold your leg and pull your foot back, and it'll stop the cramp. You don't want to get in the hamstring because that is really painful. It's like getting a sword stuck in the back of your leg, right? How do you know? Have you had a sword stuck in your leg before? No, I'm just kidding. I have. It's not fun. I just wanted to see what it was like, how other people describe cramping. So that's the second kind, is cramping. The third type is muscular co-contraction. So how many people here have ever flexed their bicep? Okay, do you know why when you flex your bicep, when you do this, if you were flexing only your bicep, your arm would keep going. It would just keep going. I mean, it would go so far that your arm would break. So in order to make a muscle, you have to flex your bicep and your tricep. So the tricep's stopping your arm from coming further forward in a flexed position. So if you ever make a bicep, feel the back of your arm, your triceps flexing too. If it's not, like I said, your arm will keep going. But if you have that happening and you're not trying to do it, we got problems. How many people have that kind of spasticity? Everyone's shaking their head, right? That type of spasticity is agonist versus antagonist. The muscle that's moving this way versus the muscle that's moving that way. They both contract at the same time. Same thing can happen in your legs. Anybody in here have difficulty getting in a car and you have to do this? You're in the car and you lift this leg up and it comes up straight, the knee doesn't bend. Well, guess what, guys? When you lift your leg up like this, this should happen. If it doesn't, that is spasticity. Your leg's locking out like that because muscles don't stay contracted. It's not weakness. It's the opposite of weakness. So there's good and bad with that. I mean, to me, the best thing for that is taking the muscles and using them. If you don't use them, the brain starts to forget what they're supposed to do, may give a wrong signal because there's friction there. It's not getting the right signal, it's not going in the right direction, and when it gets to wherever it's going to go, it's hearing, you said stop, but you really said go. And both muscles are doing it. So it's very painful too, it's debilitating, and it can be helped by exercise. So don't stay away from using those muscle groups that have that problem. Those are the muscle groups you want to use. And if you have one side that's dominant, let's say you're right-handed, but your MS is hurting your right hand, your MS is hurting the right side of your body, what are you going to do? You get your left as strong as you possibly can. Your right's already strong. It might not be as strong because it's got some problems going on, but you want whatever's not affected to say, okay, I'm taking charge. Don't neglect it because it's better to have one bad than two bad. And I work with people that have problems with one side more than the other. I work with both sides, but I want to focus on what they can do the best so they can make that even better. And there's going to be time for the other side. And it's fun. It's happy. Everyone's happy and joyful and not tired, right? Why? Because we're all in shape, right? Okay, how many of you can hold both your hands up in the air? Can you bring them together like this? And how far out can you go? Now do it faster. Now do like this. Now everybody clap. Now I want you to repeat after me. Say, this guy was awesome. Thank you guys. Okay, would you guys have ever lifted your arms up like that and moved around without me saying that? If you're at home, probably not.
Probably not.
But you can. So that little bit is that much more than what you would have done had you stayed home tonight. So all the people who are watching this video on MS Fusion News Learning Channel are wishing they were here. Maybe they're going to be at home doing this. But guess what? We will never know. What?
Do it again.
All right, no, I want you guys to try something even better than that.
Okay.
All the people that were able to stand up before,
Do it again.
since you practiced, I want you to stand up and do that. Now we're multitasking.
Oh.
Okay, now start doing this while you're standing. You guys talked about balance issues. My gosh, you guys are a bunch of liars. Do you realize that? Anybody fall down, you guys can stop because I don't know. Now I got to change what I'm going to say next. I had so many people ask me about balance. What's balance?
When you're wobbly.
What? That's not balance. That's lacking. That's lacking balance. That's lacking balance. That's called ataxia. Balance is standing on one leg, right? Right. So if you can't stand on one leg, why are you telling me you're having a problem with balance? You can't balance, but you can be stable on 2 feet. I'm stable up here like this. If you pull that out from me, I won't be so stable, will I? But the floor's not moving underneath you. So if you practice to stand like this, rather than trying to practice to stand like this, then life is easier. That's how we exist. Now I'm going to talk about some stretches. How many people in here know how to stretch and what the most important thing to do before you stretch is? Someone? Warm up. There you go. You know why? Exactly. You don't want to stretch cold muscles unless it's desperate. Like unless you're cramping and you got to do it. That's different. But if you're going to get into a stretching routine, you want to warm up first. There's a couple different types of warm-ups. There's an active warm-up and there's a passive warm-up. What are you guys talking about? All right, turn it off. I just wanted to see if you guys can listen to that and me at the same time. Didn't work though. So the types of stretching that you can do after you're warmed up and the types of warm-ups that you can do are active and passive warm-ups. An active warm-up is just moving. You move and you move and you move until your muscle body gets warmer. And it's not central, like it's not like your body's core temperature is going to raise. It's going to get up a little bit, but your legs are going to get and arms are going to get just enough to be able to move them a little bit more and stretch them a little bit more. The other thing is a passive warm-up, and that would be something like sitting in a tub or wrapping a warm cloth around your leg or around wherever it is that you're going to stretch. That'll loosen the muscles up too and get them warmed up. Then you do the stretching. Then after that, do whatever you want to do. You're not going to be tight. You're going to be loose. You're going to feel good. If you go to bed and go to sleep, you're going to wake up right where you were before you did the stretching. So it's okay to stretch before you go to bed if it's a problem, but if you're stretching as part of an exercise routine, do the exercise routine, stretch. Some people have to stretch first, some people stretch after, some people stretch in the middle of it. It's up to you guys. You just don't want to overstretch, because if you overstretch, you lose strength. Does that make sense to you guys? Think about a rubber band. Put a rubber band in the freezer, take it out, and you go to stretch it, what happens? It snaps. Or you take it out and you pull it apart and it gets too long. So you don't want that happening to your muscles. You want your muscles to be tight in a sense and functional. You want them to be able to work. So the types of workouts and stretching and all that stuff has to have a purpose. That's what functional exercise is. It's with a purpose. So if you're a bodybuilder, functional exercise would be to get big and strong and cut and lean. If you're an athlete and you have to move around and be agile, you have to do agility work. And guess what? That's what real life is. You have to be able to be agile somewhat, or you're going to be very fast to the floor. You have to be able to move in all the different directions that the body moves. We're multi-planar beings. We don't just do this. So if you want to warm up and it's walking on a treadmill, yeah, you're going to warm up your body. But if you're going to do some other exercises, then it's not going to be so great for everything else, because it's not going to, the movement pattern's different. So think about that when you're going to exercise. Think about the outcomes. Think about what you want out of it. You know, what do you want out of it today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and go into next year and the following year, because you're still going to be exercising. You should be. The only reason to stop exercising is a doctor told you that you have a bad heart, and if you exercise more, you're going to die in a minute. Because if you have a bad heart, they may have you exercise. There's cardiac rehab. There's reasons to exercise for everything. There's very few things that would prevent you from exercising, and they're usually not associated with MS, unless it was like 30 years ago. Then exercise was bad. Don't do it. And then the people who didn't do it are missing out right now. So if you were to if you were to take somebody across the hall over there that was claiming to be healthy, and you tell them not to move for a year, in a year and a week you tell them to move, they're not going to be able to move well. Right? Because it's practice and practice and practice. And the more you practice, the better you become at stuff, and then you can start showing off, right? But that's how you become better. You perform better in life. I want somebody who doesn't have MS to come up here as a volunteer. Oh, yeah, you picked yourself. I didn't even pick you yet.
I don't have MS.
Oh, well, come on up. But I'm supposed to pick somebody that raises their hand.
No.
You're the only one in here that doesn't have MS?
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
I won't try. But if you come up here, all you need to do to come up here is let the camera know that you're okay with being video recorded.
Yeah.
Not me, the camera.
I'm okay.
Okay. So you don't have MS?
No, I don't. I have everything else wrong, but not MS.
I didn't say lean on that. That's mine. Step forward a little bit. Okay. So do you have any neurological conditions?
Like what?
Neurological conditions? Like MS?
No.
Parkinson's?
No.
Did you have a stroke?
Yes, I had a stroke.
You had a stroke, okay. So this is good. So for you, is one side affected still?
Yes.
Okay.
My left side.
All right. So what I'm going to have you do is not going to be as meaningful, but I'll still let you understand what it feels like to have MS. Just stand with your feet next to each other. They have to touch. Hands can't be behind your back. Oh, there. See, she's already got it. Anybody got meds for her? They don't work that fast though. 6 months, 8 months. I don't know.
My feet don't touch.
Huh? They don't?
No.
Why not? It's the shoes, that's why. Okay, so stand with you just as your knees touching each other?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as your knees are touching each other, look forward. Now look up. Up, not over here. You're too funny for this. Okay, so do you feel a little bit less steady when you're looking up like that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now close your eyes and do it. Okay.
No.
All right, well, that's what I want to show. If you want to come up and try it, you can too. If you want to do it at home, make sure someone's standing real close to you or you're close to a wall, because if you, what I'm doing is I'm taking senses away from her. You know, and it's actually becoming a little vestibular because of her position of her head. So she put her head back, she closed her eyes, her feet are coming together, her balance is off, her closing her eyes takes away the vision. And if you had a stroke, you might have a lack of feeling some places.
Yes, I do.
All right, can I have somebody up here who hasn't had a stroke? No, I'm just kidding. No, but thank you very much. But you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So how many people in here are scared of falling? How many people in here that are scared of falling have fallen very recently? There's less hands up now.
My hand is up.
They don't teach girls how to fall.
They don't teach boys how to fall either. They teach us how to get up, and they teach girls how to do that too.
Sports you do.
Well, don't point it at me. It's not my fault that you didn't play sports. I guarantee you that you grew up playing outside, running around, probably were on a team or two, and chances are some of the things you did were on the ground and you got up, right?
Yep.
And no one said, okay, now it's time to get up. This is what you have to do. You just got up. So we don't want to fall. The best way to not fall is to prevent falling. How do you do that? Balance, exercise, stability. Forget the balance. We're not doing this. We're not at the doctor's office. That's for a baseline number for them to test to see how long you can stand on one leg, because the next time you come, if you can't stand on one leg that long, something's changed. But you're not going to hop home, right? You're going to walk home. You're going to step on one foot independently of the other foot, but it's a pattern. It's not like you're doing this. That doesn't happen, and if it did, someone would probably push you down, right? So these things are important. Falls come from lack of everything neurological that you lose. I mean, each little thing adds to it. So you got to prepare. So what I like to do I like to get volunteers. So who wants to be a volunteer? Do you have MS?
Yes.
Okay. You really want to try this?
Of course.
All right, come on up. I knew you did. She's a ringer. We've been practicing all day.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so in order to be up here, you have to give consent. Yep.
Oh, I give consent.
Okay. So what types of issues do you have that
Balance.
balance?
Would be, yeah.
Okay, because you're standing very well, except your legs are locked.
They are.
No, you don't lock them.
Okay.
Even if, like right now, does it look like my legs are locked?
Yeah.
But they're not.
Oh,
Now they're locked.
okay.
This locking your legs means that you have less stability, less balance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if I pushed you, you'd go straight over. You wouldn't be able to just do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to do is just, this is 3 pounds, feel it. Okay, so throw it to me. So working on balance, what I like to do is stuff like this, because this is real life stuff. Although nothing ever makes that clinking sound when I'm around like she's making. That's pretty talent. That's a lot of talent. But so right now what you're doing is something that's, I tricked you, didn't I? No, I was kidding. So what she's doing is she's catching it and she's not falling backwards. Yeah. Why?
Because my knees aren't on.
Because she's got a strong core. Now core is the core of you. It enables you to be able to do anything. So I'm working core, I'm throwing it over here. She has to prevent her body from going with it and stumbling. If you can take that step to the side, how many people practice doing stuff like this? Do you ever do that?
I do.
So that will eliminate falls, because the majority of falls are in an activity or emotion that you're not accustomed to, but you're put into. It's an uncomfortable scenario. Like if you trip to the side and you're not used to doing side steps, then you might not have the strength in your glutes, which is really what would stop you from falling when they contract, to keep yourself up. It's just like sports. How many people in here watch sports? All right, that doesn't make you athletes, but but it means your eyes got to be really focused. So if you watch sports, every sport's got a ready position, right? I know NASCAR doesn't, but we'll talk about something else. There's a ready position. Someone's, huh?
Yes, it does.
No, because you're sitting down. But sports have ready positions. People train laterally. If somebody beats you this way and you can't get to the baseline or the out of bounds line, and you're over here, and your leg's not strong enough, if you stop here and your leg keeps going, you have to take another step. If you can stop here and turn this way, you beat them. They didn't beat you. If you're walking on the street and you stumble to the side and you're on the sidewalk, where do you find yourself if you're not strong enough? In the road. So that's a reason you can have a seat. But thank you so much. Okay. Thank you for coming up. I want somebody else to come up here. You in the, right there.
In the what? Me?
Yeah, in the one, that one. There we go. My eyes are still going. You got to come this way. Someone throw breadcrumbs down. How are you doing? So,
I'm good.
So if you're good, we need your consent to be on video.
Okay. Consent.
You have to like you have to say a little more than
I
that.
consent
Okay.
to be on video.
All right. Do you exercise?
Sometimes I work out in the pool. I do water aerobics. And I used to also do
I don't want to know what you used to do. That's the bad word. That's like cut it off. Curtain's going to come down on that. If you used to exercise, okay, we'll get into that area. You used to do other stuff, right?
I used to do strength training.
Okay.
And then I got into the pool training.
Okay, why did you stop doing strength training?
Because I really got into the pool.
Do you think you're not getting any strength in the pool?
Oh, I am.
You are.
Yes.
Okay, you're still strength training, just
Yes.
different form.
Exactly.
So, what other types of exercises have you done? Like, what are your goals? Exercise have to come with goals. So what's your goal by getting in the water?
To feel better. It makes me feel better.
Okay, there's nothing better than feeling good.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, I can tackle.
Right. So the only thing that you really have to be careful of when you're in the water is, Stuart, can I use that microphone?
If you come and get it.
Okay.
Better wipe off the germs first.
I don't have germs. Germs.
Okay, so what type of goals do you have when you exercise?
I want to feel good.
Okay.
I want to tackle my day.
Yes, so that's the best thing. If you do it because you want to feel better and you want to be able to do more, and by doing more you feel better about yourself, that's a good goal to have. So then where do you start? You start somewhere. You got to start. If you're not doing something, don't start where you finished the last time. That's instant failure. If you start where your mind tells you once were, then you're going to probably go back to where you were at your very best in your whole life and then hurt yourself. You don't want that, do you?
No.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play catch with this with you.
Okay.
First, what I want you to do is loosen up your knees a little bit. There you go. Okay. We practiced that, don't worry. Okay, so that's the way not to catch a ball.
What, both hands?
Yeah. No, you got to remember when I was telling you before to make it look like you were going to do that? You did it perfect. Now I want you to watch the ball,
Okay.
not me. When it comes to you, both hands,
Okay.
it's going to land right in the palm of your hands, and then you grab it.
Okay.
Both hands.
Both hands. Okay.
All right, there you go.
I use these.
Okay, yeah, hey, you know, whatever you can. Now throw it back to me. Now catch it again. Okay, let me see it. In 1 minute, that's 100% improvement, right?
No, 200.
Well, yeah, or 100% improvement twice.
Yes.
I don't know.
But who's counting?
I don't know. There's 3 types of people in this world, right? People that are good at math and people that are bad at math.
I am good at math.
That one passed right by you, didn't it? Okay, so what I want you to do is take this one.
A bigger ball?
Yes. Heavier, right? You feel it's heavier?
Mm-hmm.
And slam it at the ground. Wait, who would say that was slamming it at the ground? No. I could have reached and caught it before it hit the ground. I wanted to come to the ground so fast that I can't even put my foot there to stop it.
Why would you want to do that?
Huh? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a soccer player. Okay, slam it.
Slam it.
Now, come forward. I want to watch you pick it up. That was phenomenal. Good job. Why?
What was phenomenal?
The way you picked it up.
Okay. What was phenomenal about the way I picked it up?
All right. You hold this.
Okay.
What are you told to pick things up with when they're on the ground your whole life?
Yes.
Why? So you don't hurt your back?
Yeah.
Why would you think your knees are stronger than your back?
Yes.
Why? What can the back do? The back, you're basically I'm talking glutes now. Strongest muscle in your body, the ones everyone in here is sitting on. If you reach with your knees, then your knees are stupid. Okay? Not yours, everybody's. And hers might be smarter than everybody else, I don't know. But knees do 2 things. Did anybody in here understand levers? Lever system, first class, second class, what's more efficient, what's less efficient? You know, like a pulley. You guys with me a little bit? Okay, like a seesaw. If there's a fulcrum in the middle, you push down here, this comes up. Pretty easy, right? You can get something heavy over here. But a third class lever is what the knees are. So watch me when I bend with my knees. Now, this is where everything is going to come from, right here. And so you got this and this, and that's very difficult to do, and it could get injured. If you were to do what she didn't just bend her knees, she used her hips. People forget how to bend at the hips. This is very safe. And why not strengthen your back? People talk about having back problems. What do you do for them? Most people talk about them. So you want to do is something. I'll show you something that's good for to make your back strong. Not that. Here, let me take this. Come here a second. Come this way. Hold my hands.
Okay.
Ow! Not that hard. Okay, what I want you to do is walk backwards and pull me.
Okay.
Do you know what's preventing you from falling over forward?
Your hands.
No, I'm resisting. I'm pulling you forward. No, what's preventing you is your lower back.
Okay.
So it doesn't take that much to strengthen your lower back. You're just pulling on something. If you got somebody and played tug of war, you got a bunch of people with that stability. So if that were to happen, what's the best thing to do if you're falling backwards?
Step backwards.
Exactly.
I've kind of learned.
Practice forward motions though. Because the last thing you want to do is fall backwards. Because when you hit the back of your head, it's a lot worse than the front of your head. Even though the front of your head has your face and it'll look worse, the back of your head, you hit the ground, it might not look like anything anymore. But bending at the hips, what you did was this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much are my knees bent? Not much at all. I'm using all my hips, my glutes, strongest muscle in the body. Use them. Because if you don't use it, what happens? Thank you. You lose it. Huh?
I can't believe I did something right.
You did it right. Now you got to practice that.
Yes, I do.
You do. And then you'll get better. Thank you. You can have a seat. Everybody give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to double down. So did I cover what you guys said in the back of the room about the different, you want me to bring it to you? Come on up here. Somebody, here, you pass it to him, and then he'll pass it to her, and she passes it to him. Now everybody give him a round of applause. So we talked about strength. We talked about atrophy, right? What's the opposite of atrophy? Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is the building of muscle and size. The only way to do that is to impose more demands on the muscle. You can't do it by thinking about it. You can't do it by drawing it, and it doesn't really work when you Photoshop it. Because then people will see you in person. That's a problem with this generation right now. Everybody looks different than they look in real life. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But just watch television. You see everybody looks like they're 15. Like, it's really, really bizarre, because then you eventually meet the people and you say, oh my gosh. I don't know. It's really scary. I wouldn't want someone to say to me, I thought you looked like you were 15. I didn't realize you were 29. I couldn't be 29. That's how old my mom is. So these things, and laughing and enjoying the stuff and having a good time, this is what life is all about. When you exercise, if you have to call it a different word, do it. Enjoy it. Take it home with you. Take it with you everywhere. Exercise can be performed wherever you go, whatever you're doing. If you do it a little bit harder, a little bit more, with a little bit more oomph to it, you're going to get a lot more out of it. That's how you build. There's no too old to exercise. I can have you talk to some people I work with in their mid-90s that are getting bigger muscles, that are not getting tired walking up and down stairs anymore. I can tell you that what I do, I have a purpose. There was a time I couldn't walk, see, and if I were to talk up here, you guys would ask me what language it was. But I did everything I possibly could to get out of that part of my life. I had a little luck on my side, a lot of elbow grease, and a lot of bruises. But I did it. You know, I got out of that year that was horrible. And ever since then, I appreciate everything that much more. I can understand what other people are going through, whether you have MS or not, or you have an injury. I can't even tell you how many injuries I have. When I can figure out which shoulder is better, the other one's getting cut first, but not for a long time. My knees, everything. Every injury I have has a great story behind it. A lot of fun stuff I probably shouldn't have done as much of, but if I had a choice to go back and do it all over, I would do it twice as hard, because that's what makes us today, who we are. All right, thank you guys very much, and I'm going to open up to Q&A.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome. And as you ask questions, I'm going to take some things out of here in case you had questions about any of these things.
Who's got the first question? Right there, center of the room, center of attention.
What if you have a problem with when you're walking, if you go like say 100 feet, all of a sudden you start to have numbness set in, you can feel it working up your legs, and then if I keep pushing myself, I go down and I literally cannot have the ability to tell my legs to move, to stand up for about 20 minutes.
Okay, when you go 100 yards, you said, I know that's just figuratively speaking, right? You're not. Find where the 99 yards is and take a break.
Okay, so like
rest.
Stop for
it's
a little
okay,
bit.
because this is what I do every day. And if I have somebody that I know is doing their first 5 reps perfectly smooth, and then number 7, they can't do it all, I stop them. Give them a break, the nerves cool down, and right back at it. Even if they, and usually they can get the same amount, because that's not that's not the most they can actually do. That's just the most the nerves are allowing them to do when they're overheated.
Right, so for me, I can walk 15 minutes, and if I don't sit, then I lose my ability to walk at
So
all.
you've solved your own problem.
So will it get better? Will it?
If you do intervals, but if you go to walk 15 minutes and then you're out of gas and you're done for the day, there's not going to be any other more minutes you're walking, right? But if you walk, say, 14 minutes, take a 10-minute break, or go do something else, then walk again, then take a break, walk again, by the end of the day, you've done an hour plus exercise. And the next day, that 15 minutes might be 16 minutes, or the time that you rest after that might have to be a little bit shorter. So you're going to do better in some way, shape, or form. And that's something that I try to point out to people every day that I work with them. Something that they do is going to be better. If not, it's my fault.
No.
Everybody can achieve something unless you're just trying to be an overachiever. But you can only be an overachiever once. Once in your life, you get one chance at it, because the second time it comes from hard work.
Any other questions? Okay, we're only going to have time for 4 total questions, all right? And I got to get to you. I got to climb across the table. No.
You can jump.
I could.
You know, I've been working with Stuart for a long
tired.
time, and believe it or not, he's a lot stronger than you would imagine. Don't get in a fight with him in an alley, and and he used to tire out a lot faster. So that's what we have to do, because we're traveling around the country. I'm working full time, then I'm going to speak, then I'm going to speak.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I start off walking pretty okay, but after maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I start getting pains around the hip area. And the pain starts shooting down to my legs. What type of exercises would help strengthen this area?
It's so hard to answer that, because that's specifically to your issue, which everybody in this room could have the same problem you do and explain it differently. So I can't give you a definite answer. Aquatic exercise would be a lot better, because it's not as much weight bearing. So getting in the water and doing that. Also, you know, talk to your doctor about it, because it might have nothing to do with MS, and you could have something wrong with your lower back, or, you know, I can suspect a lot of things that it could be. A doctor can diagnose with it what's really happening.
Before I get to the next question, remember everybody, I've got to do this thing afterwards. So if you want to stick around for that, then that's great. We'd love to have you. But if you are leaving early, we need you to fill out those seminar evaluation forms and either leave it on the table or bring it and drop it off out front here. I got to hold.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm on my 3.5 weeks of chronic bronchitis. And
Oh, don't talk into that microphone.
oh, yeah, I can.
I know.
anymore. I'm no longer contagious.
You sound great.
I've been to 4 doctors. Well, I've been coughing, and my coughing has caused some serious problems. I've had trigeminal neuralgia that's occurred, so exercising for me right now is out of the question, but I want to get back into it, and I do normally do water aerobics 3 to 4 times a week. And, of course, now when is it safe for me to start exercising again?
Post-bronchitis, you mean?
Yeah.
That comes from your doctor that's treating your bronchitis.
Okay, then one other question. And as far as walking, what's your opinion on using an aid such as a rollator so that you can sit down when you need to instead of falling down?
Well, let's see. Sit versus fall.
Well, I know that. But
No, I mean it's great. I think it's phenomenal. I think that if you are somebody who uses a walk aid and you do
Okay.
get tired and you have something, a platform to sit on, that's what it's meant for. Unfortunately, most people don't use it.
Well, I'm embarrassed to use it, but
Don't be embarrassed because nobody is looking down upon you when you do it. Only you
Okay.
are.
Right.
And if they are, let me know what they look like.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
How do you go about?
Wait. You haven't heard me all night?
He's much faster in a less crowded room.
How do you go about finding a personal trainer?
Okay, that's a good question. Like how I opened up with that book, that's a great book. If you read that book, you can really figure out like it would take me a long time to tell you. But there's certain certifications that are out there that are more important than others. Certain certifications require a degree in the same field. Those are the ones that I have obtained. And then there's certifications out there that your dog could get. So what you want to ask questions. You ask questions. You're hiring somebody, so you ask them the questions. How often is because if they tell you I'm LMPTC, you wouldn't know what that was, would you? Me neither. I made it up. But if you ask them what your certification was, they're going to tell you some fancy thing. Then what you say is, how often do you have to recertify? These are questions that you'd ask somebody. How much continuing education does it take for you to recertify? Do you recertify and get your continuing education in the areas in which you work? Those are the types of things that you want to ask somebody. That way you know that their education is ongoing and that they're not just getting continuing education to get a certificate, that they're actually learning what they're going to be doing. It's education, education, education.
I just wanted to know if we could see that book again.
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, here. Which book? The yellow one?
The yellow
or the blue one? All right. This is D-A-N-A, first name, Dana, not Dana, she'll get mad. Last name is Gore, G-O-R-E. And she's got a lot of books out. But it's called A Simple Guide to Exercise Safety. What you don't know can hurt you.
So for anybody that thinks that they might forget this, when this video is published, you'll be able to hear him say that again.
And you'll see the book on that. All right, it was that 3 questions, right?
That's it.
Come on, finish your question. Finish your question. I know you had more to it.
I heard during the evening that there's a program on television. Can you give us
Stuff
some
to
information?
exercises? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Exercise to do while you're watching television?
Yeah. No.
Oh, darn, that was going to be a good one.
Some kind of a program that taught you exercises.
That taught me, or you want to be taught?
I want to be taught.
Okay. I mean, you can go online and read. I mean, there's, if you go, like I stand by the National Strength and Conditioning Association. They have great literature, and they're, it's educational, and it's facts. You don't want to read stuff that's written by somebody who learned it by the guy next to him at the gym, who learned it by the guy the week before. And unfortunately, that's what the information that's out there in when you're in the aisles of the grocery store and you see a fitness magazine. You got to see who wrote these articles. When you're reading a magazine article on fitness, look and see what the author's credentials are and see if it's just an author. It could be somebody that got information, that's a reporter that asked someone at the gym, and the average person, unfortunately the average person at the gym, and this is fact, this is, I've seen the studies on this, if you ask them a bunch of questions on exercise physiology, and then the average trainer at the gym that doesn't have a degree or the certain higher certifications, 30% is what they'll get in the test, versus the people who are qualified who average about an 80%. Oh, come on.
Okay. That's it, everybody. Say thank you to Jeff. Awesome. So, listen, everybody. Before I get into all this, I just want to all thank you for coming to tonight's program, and we want to thank Sanofi Genzyme and Celgene once again. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and everybody drive carefully, all right?